Memento Mori dropping out of the clouds to the pavement crust of the sinkhole-pocked insatiable metropolis of strip malls, mega churches and automobile dealerships, a landscape studded with outdoor pools whose chlorine blues are all as empty and shallow as the bored but restless eyes behind the drugstore sunglasses of caffeine, adrenalized drivers in their recently hot-waxed cartoon-colored cars, eyes made desperate by desire and apprehension, scanning the landscape fashioned by 40 years of frantic capitalization, the fog of layer after layer of DDT burned off by those decades of shoestring corruption-fueled sprawl, while the desirous planes continue to descend all around us, like flies to feast on the desecration, each new nomad safely entombed within his or her climate-controlled automobile. The machines themselves the only visible animals, charged with consumptive impulse, scrambling into and out of the corpuscular clotted circulation which flows around all this carefully landscaped and fenced privation. From fast food to pawn shops, to lunchtime bars, billboards hung like picture windows against the thin-skinned anemic sky, blazoned with advertisements for lawyers and bail bondsmen, forgiveness of loans, military recruiting, and the threatening lures of scripture. All the authorized pillars of the brand name monotony, the credit card-funded mausoleum maze of the United States of America, where my father will surely die. The last time we spoke, he said, "I don't know why I'm still alive." I said, "Maybe because you are tasked with revealing a secret, something from your past, something hidden which needs to be made clear." He laughed. "There are no secrets," he sneered. "Each of us is already dead, or so near that we might as well whisper our way, like genocide victims saying their prayers before descending into a recently dug pit where each will plunge his spade into the soft-turned dirt and harder clay, sometimes striking a stone, frustrated by each difficulty and slow progress, although each of us is digging his own grave, like refugees crowded into a leaky rubberized raft. Pushed into the swelling, uncomprehending, merciless sea, the smallest ones already sinking to the bottom of the boat, the swelter of panicked intimacy already suffocating them, driving them down beneath our feet, eyes bulging, tongues black, too certain of their own demise to cry out or complain. My father's duty nurse is named Letitia. She herself is a newly resettled refugee from Cuba. When I ask her how the old man is doing, she seems surprised and deftly changes the subject to the possibility of an afternoon shower. My father is like a nest of things, dry twigs and gathered bits of string, the purple bruises which sprout on his arms and legs like the dark soft patches on an already withered fruit, sores which will not heal but will not bleed, his circulation slowed to the measure of a dripping faucet, his resting temperature not even 90 degrees. His eyes follow mine, looking for a sign of love with the dulled alertness of a captive bird. Outside his room, the Floridian sun warms the buildings painted pink, sandstone and burnt orange, while over and over again the absurd confusion of jewel-polished cars which scurry between them in well-marked lanes. Churns, 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 the miasmic, boiling stew in its propaganda-stoked, insatiable fury, searching for something tangible, something redemptive, or at least something new, a novelty with which to assuage the dawning realization of a gnawing despair, searching for something which pretends to be sincere, to alleviate the utter hopelessness of our hungry kind, like a tableau of Bruegel's Parable of the Blind. It all seems a little strange, like a mirage of itself, as if nothing is changing amid all this change. An orchestral recreation or a flash mob of earnest pretension, but without any thought about what we will do after we have done what we have been taught at rehearsal. You, yes, you over there, the anxious young woman whose exhausted eyes can't seem to find a moment to rest. You must call in late again to your job. The phone cradled between your shoulder and your ear, and strap your toddler into his car seat while ferrying the other 3 kids to school. The guy in the lane next to you will be constantly checking his phone at every intersection, as if there were an important message that he might have missed, hardly casting his eyes on the road in front of him, just enough to surmise whether he needs to brake to avoid another car, or whether he should speed up to make the light. A block from a strip club called Lookers will erect an evangelical church, the everlasting assembly of the Nazarene, both cavernous echo chambers of unquenchable dread, And just up ahead, let's place Tony's guns and ammo between High Life beer and wine and Liberty fireworks. Yes, yes, this will do. The world will give you enough to distract you from the facts of your condition, from the actual size of your debt balanced against your wage, tempered, of course, by fits of misdirected, inappropriate rage. Yes, yes, this will certainly hold the farcical structure intact, unless, of course, someone happens to get sick or grow old. My father's feet are purple, his toenails' talons pointed and curled as if an angry metamorphosis had taken hold of him, the curse of an underworld lord fashioning his form into a medieval gargoyle, crouching in bemused despair in the cradle of his motorized wheelchair. My father is but a nest of things, stray, confused memories, complaints, and antiquated observations. The old snapshots, like a short deck of cards from which his fortune has already been told. I simply concentrate on a color or shape until I can figure out what it is, he says. It's not important or meaningful in any way. The only thing left to him is being old. The struggle to lift one chicken wing arm to which clings the bunched fabric of his skin and point to the disposable cup from which he sips his allotment of water. There is something important, however, which I want to say. There's a jazz band just outside the door, a pianist, a bass player, and a drummer, waiting in the entryway. You can't see them, no matter, but they're not yet ready to perform. The drummer is reading and has to finish his book. I can't quite make out the title. It might be Ernest Hemingway. We exchange a knowing, unknowing look. After all, he will not last forever. After all, he will disappear without a trace, just like the mask of seriousness on his mottled, placid face, when he continues, and for that reason, I need you to go buy me some handcuffs so that I can shackle myself to this day to make sure that it can't, before he is done reading, run away.